This is Greg Allison Green Greg's. Tonight, we're going to go into another edition of Nuke War News late. Guys, have you heard about what happened in the South China Sea? How a Chinese actually launched flares at an Australian fighter jet? It really put them into panic. They thought they were in severe danger. So, guys, the Chinese are getting more and more aggressive. And it's not just the U.S. versus China. You got to understand that. That's crucial. It's not just the U.S. versus China. It's really China versus the world. But they're, really uh, up in the ante in the South China Sea, the Philippines, of course, Taiwan, and as we know, Japan, South Korea, they're all at immediate risk. And a lot of people think that China may actually attack the United States before they do any of these. Of course, I've been telling you from a long time back that they're really already at war with us. We're just too darn dumb to figure that out. I mean, you just got to look at all the things they've arrayed against us, in which a former four-star general who was directing NSA, as I previously reported, said the only reason to do these things, the only reason to put these things in place is for war. Why do you think they invest the way they invest in the landing craft they're putting over there in Taiwan? Why they got everything hacked up one side and down the other side in the United States? And why is it? Why is it that we today are not exporting these young Chinese military young men that came in this country? We're going after gang members, which is good. But I think our first party should be the ones that's the most direct threat to the United States. Now, I'll also report to you that indeed they have taken out the trade of what I call F-ball. That's been uh, severely diminished, fortunately. That's one good effect of shutting the border down. So, guys, we are, yeah, there's some positive things. We'll cover some of that, but there's some hopes for peace, but it is thin, very thin. And those hopes for peace might be with this meeting coming up between Trump and Putin, but I wouldn't be holding my breath. If you're holding your breath, you might expire. So keep these things in mind so that you won't be left behind. You got to keep your eyes wide open and head on the swivel, guys, because it's really coming at some information. And yeah, get this. I got to share this with you. I got to share this, and we're going to go in the news. We'll start out with Russia, go to China, and some other things around the world. But let's just start with this. Well, let's see. Hang on a minute. I got to change the screens here. Ding, 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 ding. Give me a second. Give me a second. All right, let's start with this. I think that's it right there. Let's see. Ding, ding, ding. I got so many things open. Make sure I open the right thing. And here we are. Guys, would you believe it? Would you believe this? Maybe you've already heard this, that they found a sniper's nest in Palm Beach, Florida, right where President Trump's Air Force One comes in. And the sniper's nest looks like a sniper's nest, but it's actually pointed at where Trump comes out of the airplane, where he exits. Can you believe this? It'd been there for a while. How did this get there? How was it not detected? Is this like, they didn't scan the roofs in Butler, Pennsylvania, or at university in Utah before bad things happen? But fortunately, somebody saw this. It got reported, and all secret services all over it. So this tells you that we're not out of the woods for political violence. If anybody thought that, they are dreaming. I wish we could dream that dream, but we're not at that place today. This is what everybody needs to be aware of because, there was an individual that got taken out for, had a Trump sign up, somebody often, it just don't stop. So you got to really watch because right now the political violence is off the charts. Anyway, and I'm still seeing remarks on Facebook that some people are making that are just blowing me away, justifying what happened to Charlie Kirk. I just saw a comment somebody posted on something I posted, something to that effect tonight, and I was just aghast. Anyway, So it's not over. I'm going to show you this sniper's nest. Look here. They got a picture right there. Some makeshift platform. This isn't your regular hunter's platform because they climb a tree with that, like a pine tree, but this is out perched on a limb. Perfect place for somebody to set up and take a shot at right there. That's what that was pointed at. It could have been coincidental. Maybe somebody just wanted a photograph. They wouldn't go through all that to do that. This should set off some alarm bells, and a lot. How many times have they already tried to take Trump out? It ain't over. That's what that says. It ain't over. There's all kind of a propensity. Yeah, we are in a mess for political violence right now. It is off the charts. It is. Who knows what's going to come next? Oh yeah, tonight's program is brought to you by a new sponsor. My other channel, my space channel, Galactic Gregs. I just seen the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life. And I made it. I made it. Yes, sir. And it's coming up premiering Tuesday, it's already Tuesday, later today. And it is what's really out there. It's the Dark Fortress. Just in time for Halloween. The Dark Fortress. My friends, this is my answer to the Fermi paradox. It's not the Dark Forest. It's the Dark Fortress. Kind of an offshoot of the Dark Fortress. But, it just kind of asks, where are they hiding? And what happens when they find us? The galaxy silence may not be in peace. It may be in fear. So you need to watch this one. I spent 3 weeks making this. 3 weeks. It's got video and poetry that are out of this world. And it will not only, you need to take a bathroom, a potty break before you watch this because it'll scare the skittles out of you. But it will also inspire you. It will blow your mind, and then it will blow your mind again. So this is premiering tomorrow, today already, I guess. I think on the bed, so it's still tomorrow for me, but it's already Tuesday technically. But anyway, so it will be 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is also Arizona time. So it is the chilling truth behind the Fermi paradox. That paradox is asked, why are they not here already? So you want to watch this one because I put a lot of effort into making this video. That's why I'm saying this is my sponsor tonight. And it will be premiered, so it'll be a chat room where y'all can chat with each other and me during this video. Anyway, be there. Anyway, Trump and Zelensky. Well, they got in a spat. And Zelensky left with his hat in his hand, the hand in his hat. Well, what happened was that Zelensky was basically thought he was going to go there to close the deal on getting Tomahawk missiles, and Trump withheld them. He says, nope, not now. And he says, you need to make a peace agreement and you need to concede territory for what's already held with Russia. He didn't like it. He didn't really agree with it. But Trump basically came down on him like a house of bricks. And I think that's a good thing because I think that's where the war needs to end. Basically, it just needs to come to an end. Will it? Well, he's not agreeing. Europeans are gnawing their fingers, but they can't do a whole lot about it. And this article, just kind of goes in and hammers, this acrimonious deal a little bit further. But the Russians have kind of talked both ways about this. So now what the Ukrainians are saying here as well, and they're pointing out, well, the Russians are laughing in their news media. Well, they were kind of, but on the same time, they came out and said that, hey, first Russia says, no, we're not doing it. We're not going to go along with this. That's another story. Britain's prepared for widespread wars. Let's see, where does that think I got them mixed up here? No, we'll just come back over here and talk a minute. So the Russians first came out and said, no, we're not going to do it. Nothing short of taking all of Donbass. We will not settle for anything taken short of that. But yet, they've come back since then and kind of hinted they would go with it. So through other sources. So we don't really know where Russia stands. It could be that they're just trying to position for negotiations because they've got the impression that Trump will agree to them taking all of Donbass. I don't think that's probably the case, but we'll see when it ends up. But there's not a lot of difference. Russians already got something like 78% of the Donbass territory conquered, along with the, Zaporizhia, Crimea, and what's the other oblast? Brain's locked tonight. But anyway, Zaporizhia is one of them. And of course, in Donbass is two oblasts. It's Donetsk and Luhansk. I can get brain locked tonight. But anyway, so these are the areas that Russia is, they want to claim the entire Donbass region. They put in their constitution that Donbass oblasts are part of Russia. So they don't want to surrender on that. Now, as you get further and further in Ukraine, probably the population is more and more pro-Ukraine. I don't know if that part of Donbass that the Ukrainians are holding want to stay in Ukraine or not. And I really got a question. Is it worth World War III to fight over that remaining little strip of land? I don't see it, not personally. If you think it's worth World War III, and if you think the United States ought to get involved and push that, you put a 1 in the chat room. If you don't buy into that, put a 2. I'm not there. Let's see what you guys think, though. I'd like to know what you think about it. Mossad versus CIA. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think sometimes they're on the same side. And sometimes I think a lot of the cover up that's going on in this country is in deference to Mossad. And I think a whole lot of the Epstein story was. That's another story. But anyway, that's maybe a better topic for Swivelhead News. I'm doing more of my political stuff over there. But hey, the Britons are being told right now to prepare for a war with Europe, in Europe, a major war in 3 to 4 years. Now, where they get that time frame, I don't know. Maybe they think it'll take that long for Russia to do what they're going to do in Ukraine, and maybe the Baltic countries, and before they start coming after them. I don't know. Of course, it may not. It may not. Yeah, I'd vote it too. How you doing, Bill Wayne, Hawaii girl? I'll go through the chat rooms or go after I go through most of the news media. So we'll keep it on the news for the morning coffee drinkers. So let's get through this, and then we'll do our chat part, chitter chatter, and we'll do our egg guess. So, but the Europe has not filled a gap in funding Ukraine. I mean, they keep saying we need to push the war and push for Ukraine, but they haven't stepped up to the table. If they're serious about it, it really should be their matter. In my humble opinion, it should be a European matter. So why are they not stepping up? Because they expect Uncle Sam, us out of our broke pocketbooks, or 30, nearly $7 trillion in debt. They want us to cover it all. Of course, they don't want to cover it themselves, but they want us to do it for them. Here we are. This I got some articles mixed. Here's one. Putin rejects Trump peace plan after an expletively written White House meeting with Zelensky. So said he rejected it, and yeah, definitely. There's a lot of reasons why they want Donbass, and here it points out Donbass is short for Donetsk coal basin. So there is some economic motivations behind having Donbass, but principally, and that's what this article is claiming. But this is also a Kyiv Ukrainian article. They're neglecting the point that the population there is mostly Russian favored. They voted to go with it. So, the Kievers, basically say, oh, it's for the coal. Yeah, the coal might factor into it, but the people there want to be part of Russia. They voted it. But that's another story. Anyway, yeah, this Putin's pals laugh at Trump for following secret Kremlin orders. Again, this is probably a Ukrainian piece here. This is also from Ukraine. Kremlin echoes Trump's call to freeze war at current front line, but then that may be where they're heading, and that's really the best solution is to freeze it where they're at. Just stop. But then again, it really should be none of our business. Trump wants to be a peacemaker, allegedly. We'll see how that works out in this case. Well, he's been trying for this one. It's eluded him. I worry that since we are part of NATO, that this will drag us into World War III. I'm still worried about that. And Germany had this great plan to build the biggest military in Europe. Well, we're going to stand up all this. And so they started funding equipment. And Frederick Merz had, Merz, I guess is the right pronunciation. He had tried to set up a plan to conscript soldiers to build this big army. And the left party in Germany says, no, you can't conscript soldiers for this. If you were really thinking that Russia is going to invade you, you would think you want to do that. But maybe they're planning to invade Russia. I don't know. So, and again, this is German politics. Hey, some people accuse me of only covering the United States. We just covered Australia, Britain, and now Germany. Alrighty, guys. So, yes, it remains to be seen if Merz can push this through the parliament there in Germany. We'll see, the Reichstag, or what do they call it these days? So, and oops, come on. They're accusing Russia of flooding Europe and the United Kingdom with illegal immigrants in an attempt to destabilize the EU and Britain. They'd also accused Belarus of this at one time, and Belarus indeed do that. But what about all the ones they just let in? Why are they ignoring that? It's okay when they're letting them in. Yeah, by the droves. I don't think Russia or Belarus could send near as many in as they just threw open their borders and allowed to come in. Kind of like our previous POTUS here in the United States, just allowed anything in the border. Does this suggest that illegal immigrants can destabilize a country? Well, now suddenly they decided that over there. But the political left in this country just don't quite get it. You know, hey, we need immigration. I'm not against immigration, never have been. I'm against unvetted, undocumented immigration. You just let those sleeper cell agents in the country, you let the drug cartels in the country, you let human trafficking across the border, you allow them to import that word ends with enol, begins with fent, which I call F-ball for short. I think it's more compatible with this platform. What do y'all think? Isn't that funny? That article just caught my attention. It's like, really? You think that now? Then why didn't you think that before? I mean, you already did it to yourselves to the point that your nations are at risk of continuing to exist as you know them. But hey, I digress. Lord, Lord of mercy. Yeah. England is not going to be the England everybody knew and loved in the past. For those that did leave or love it, or France, or any of those nations over there. And I said, wake up and do something about it. Like maybe do what the Trump administration is trying to do. Anyway, here it is. Chinese fighter jet sparks panic and unleashes dangerous flares at Australian plane. Panic broke out in the South China Sea. Dangerous flares, very close. So Australia is supposedly protesting this. Well, Chinese don't care. Everybody protests what the Chinese do, and it goes in one ear and out the other. Then they turn around and blame you for it. So there's another article on it. Try 3 months for free. Yeah, so let me see it. This guys. Guess what? Bang, I'll kill that one. Well, and this article rightly says something that I knew all along. Depending on China for rare earths is one of our dumbest mistakes. That must be corrected pronto. One of our dumbest mistakes. Also relying on them for our medicinals. Well, you can't get the medicines you need because we outsourced everything to China. You outsource everything to the country that may be your enemy. That ain't smart. Not unless you're anti-American or just so greedy and sleazy you didn't care. Yeah, that's what we got into. And, sure, we get cheap products, but we're paying for it in so many ways. You may pay for it with your very lives. So this is nuts. I agree. We got to do something. We got to do it fast. Well, there's one company that's working on it, and that is Cleveland Steel. Where is it at here? Yeah, Cleveland Steel. Thing jumping around on me like a grasshopper. All these ads popping up. Anyway, so they're a Ohio-based steel company, and they claim they're going to go after trying to produce rare earth minerals. They got some mines and they got some abilities to smelt. Well, they still got to put all this stuff in production. They haven't done that yet. So there's going to be a time lag. And what will it be? How much will we get? Will it be sufficient? At least it's a start. Probably won't be sufficient right off the bat, but this is a good start to making it happen. So I'm glad to see a United States company step up to the plate and try to deliver what we need in this nation. We need those rare earth minerals. I mean, all our tech devices, it's crucial for the magnets, it's in all our electrical motors and so forth. So that's the good news, but I hope we're not a dollar short and a day late. A day late and a dollar short, however that saying goes. I believe it's the latter. But anyway, hey, now for a change, China accuses the U.S. of cyber attack on them. Threats to their financial system, their power grid. Well, a little turnabout might be fair play. Hey, you want to mess with us? Maybe we get back at you too. Yeah, I doubt we got them hacked anywhere because they're such a homogeneous society. Getting there and hacking them the way they've hacked us, especially having sleeper cells in their country, that ain't happening. But maybe somebody woke up over there. But you got to count it the extent to which they're hacking us. And we don't even know if this is true. They could, China likes to accuse other people doing what they're doing. They've always done that. So this could be just them blowing hot air. But if we did, tit for tat, hey. But what's China doing? They got a gray war on the whole world, United States especially. And this is what this is talking about here. And it's all the hacking they're doing to us and everything else. So this is, worldwide. A war without war. China's gray zone activity. And it goes into them ramming, Filipino boats like this, bam, uh, fishing boats. And of course, a lot of the so-called fishing fleet of China is engaging in military activities. But it's their fishing fleet, or it's their National Guard, or Guard Reserve, or whatever, or Coast Guard, excuse me. So, so they're supposing they're advancing without attacking. Well, when do you call it attack and when do you not? So yeah, it's not a full open shooting war with anybody else yet. But what they're doing is they're trying to degrade other nations' capabilities, degrade their sovereignty, get them used to this military type aggression as legitimate peacetime activity, according to this. It's not legitimate by any shape of the matter. And China just fired a warning shot. Anyway, so this is what they're doing: deterrence without escalation. I don't know. Look at all these landing craft they're building right here. It's aiming for a war, and they're just trying to get themselves positioned. They're trying to soften the targets before they hit by every means available. That's what it really boils down to, my friends. Softening the targets. So, and then Trump comes out and says, we're not worried about China. They're not going to do anything when I'm president. Xi Jinping is my good friend. Really? Yo, knock, knock. Hey, Donald Trump, take a look around. See what they're doing. Yeah. Maybe everybody says he's playing 4D chess all the time. I don't know. I'm beginning to wonder. But guess what? We just had a major web outage here in the United States. Yeah, Amazon Web Services, which carries a large fraction of the internet, went down. And they don't know if it's because some tech bumbled or if it was hacking. At least the last report I saw, they don't know. Was this China or just some tech fumbling? I don't know. But with everything that's going on, you got to be suspicious, right? And maybe that's another good reason to think about getting some gold you can hold. You might want to go to defythegrid.com where they got a deal here that you find a better deal anywhere else. they'll meet it or beat it. Nobody else makes that proposition, and they make it because they operate on 3 to 4% margin. Very skinny, but they're willing still to give you a percent off if you use discount code GreenGregs. You can buy gold, silver, palladium, platinum. You can buy it in coins, bullion, or you can get these nice little gold bags, which are denominated in thousandths of a troy ounce of gold, which means you can barter with them for everyday things like bread and eggs. Anyway, at defythegrid.com, GreenGreg's discount code. So, U.S. ally Army Chief, this is the Army Chief of Staff for South Korea, saying that they got revising their policy to use drones against North Korea. Now, does this mean they're going into North Korea? Is this in case of a war? It's not clear. But their Army staff, the Army Chief of Staff, Kim Koo-ha, however you pronounce that, this is what he was announcing to their lawmakers there. So we'll see what comes of that. But the Korean Peninsula is not off the plate, my friends, for conflict. That's just why I bring that up. And then the Houthis, those honey badger Houthis who just don't quit, that we've been playing whack-a-mole with for a long time, wasting our missiles that we need to reserve for China. They're suddenly building a new airstrip. Why? Well, so they can get more supplies in from China, from Iran, maybe China via Iran, and then maybe a better platform which to launch more attacks on the South Red Sea. So, yeah, the Houthis just don't quit. They've been bombed senselessly, but that happened to them. Even during their war with Saudi Arabia, and they just kept coming back. They just kept coming back. Just like a weed. You whack it and it comes back. You whack it and it comes back. So that's what the Houthis are like, the Houthi weed. They just keep coming back. Is it worth the attack when they keep coming back? Yeah, I don't know, guys. It should be, who benefits from the trade through the Suez Canal the most? Europe. How come Europe ain't taking care of that? Why are we down there taking care of Europe's business? Wow, it's always us taking care of somebody else. Where's America first at? Let me get out. Anyway, Night Stalkers have been deployed to Venezuela. Night Stalkers, this is really the transportations, the Green Berets of transportation. Basically, it's the Army's unit for delivering Green Berets and all kinds of special forces. So, yeah, the helicopters, this is a special force in and of itself. But this is talking, you don't deploy these guys unless you're planning to go into the country. What's brewing down there? What is brewing? Trump and Maduro are both amassing military forces as tensions builds up in the Caribbean. It's a Caribbean or Caribbean? Anyway, so there you go. It's building up. Something's cooking. What's going to happen? How will it affect us? Will the drug cartels that are left in this country, will they act out if things start getting hot in Venezuela? I don't know. It could. That's why you got to keep your eyes wide open, head on a swivel, my friends, at all times. So, what affects you? You smoke a hootie weed. Oh, I don't want to smoke no hootie weed. All right, Arnold. How Trump's border crackdown has choked cartels. Yeah, they choked this out. That's good. This could be saving a lot of lives, like maybe 70,000 a year, more than we lost in the Vietnam War, and 12 years over there per year here in the United States. Well, guess what? They've choked it out. I hear there's more meth lab explosions now in the United States, but at least this scourge is on the purge, and that is good news. And the cartels are not happy with it. This is a severely pumping the brakes on the trafficking of F-ball in the United States. Well, they can't get it in, at least not normally. They may be trying other ways, but this is kind of a graph of Yeah, this year is the bottom line. This is what they're saying. This is what they had under the Biden administration. I got to ask you, how come you don't see protest from the left against all the people we lost over this? Oh no, oh no. They don't talk about it. They don't talk about it. Instead, they protest when you try to take the people that traffic this stuff and traffic people, which is slavery. They defend slavery, and this stuff is taking out 70,000 Americans a year. We'll cry about it. Pardon me, I ain't buying your pity party. Excuse me, I don't want no part of it. This has got to stop. And these pity party poopers, they they're sick. When they start promoting, the defending the traffickers of this stuff to the point they want to attack the people that are trying to get them out of the country, that is sick. That is sick. Anyway, so let's see, the cartels are doing something. According to this article in the Christian Post, Mexican cartels are offering street gangs up to $50K to what? To take out and monitor ICE and Customs and Border Patrol agents. Apparently, this is according to the Department of Homeland Security. You think there couldn't be mayhem in this country? But various governors says, "Oh, your ICE agents, your CBP agents, they don't need any protection. Everything is hokey dory here." For their own residents attack. But I think the majority of the residents in the states that these governors are in don't even agree with the governor. I think some of those guys are maybe in trouble in the polls. People really want peace, law and order. They don't want these gangs ruling the country. And most of the crime in this country, break-ins, theft, is people trying to pay for their drug habits. It's all boiling down to drugs. So now we got this Trump willing to buy set a deal for U.S. to buy beef from Australia. Now, this is a little bit controversial. There's two sides to this. Now, somebody said that he had agreed to give $40 billion to Argentina. This article talks about a $20 billion credit swap. Now, I don't know, there's more to it than that. So, it all boils down to the pro side for this. Remember, I mentioned, I said China would like to destabilize Malay, and they would like to set up a socialist government in Argentina, and they would like to choke us off. They're already trying to choke off the Panama Canal. And anyways, we got to get in our ships and trade from one side of the country to the other via that short route. If they could choke off the Drake Passage, we would be in severe trouble. We need Argentina as an ally as we face China. Now, some people are ignoring that, but that's the bald truth about it. Now, this beef deal, some people are worried it's going to affect our farmers. I'm not in favor of anything that's going to be knocking our farmers down any further. But the truth of the matter is there's a severe shortage of beef in this country. It's why the prices are going so high. It's a beef shortage. We just don't have as much. So putting some back on the market may not be such a bad idea, like we did with eggs. Trump brokered that deal, brought the price of eggs back in line. So that may help. I just bought a little tub of beef a couple of weeks ago. I used to buy for $5. Just a couple of weeks earlier, it cost me $8 something. So you can expect the prices of beef to really escalate unless something is done. They claim it's going to go a lot higher because the shortages are getting more severe. There's just not as much to go around. So if the price could get, to some equitable amount, it wouldn't be necessarily such a bad thing. But we do need Argentina. We need to try to keep Milei in charge there because he is a friend. The opposition would probably be a friend to China. And we can't ignore China in our global geopolitics. as long as we are in the business of, defending our allies in the Pacific and potentially Taiwan. If we give that up, then we're just letting the dragon out of the bottle. Is that what we want? I don't know. Problem is the dragon just won't quit coming. That's what I'm worried about. Unless the dragon gets his teeth pulled from within. Chinese people don't like it either. So maybe that is the outcome. Like I said, you see some Chinese people, just pull aside and talk to them. Egg recall updated to FDA's highest alert. Now they're claiming salmonella. Remember they eliminated, they've been having a habit of eliminating egg layers. After Trump took over, it kind of moved over to the blue states, claiming bird flu. I did a video about chickens some time back and said, I wouldn't worry about bird flu and your yard birds. And it was just basically because the ones that spread from the birds, you can get it if you handle them, heavily, but it's rare. And it's also a case that, it's not the variant that hops from people to people. That would be a mutation. I did a whole video on that saying, I wouldn't worry about the yard birds. I got yard birds. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to lose 1 second of sleep over having yard birds and worried about them get the birdie flu. They might, if they did, I'm going to handle them carefully if they start getting sickly and die. My birds are healthy right now. So this is not something that's got me concerned. And in fact, since the yellow has issues with eggs, I'm glad I got my own birds. I got worms too. Just got worms. I'm back in the worm business. I'm in the chicken business, and I got a garden, and I got cats. This is a homestead. It's off grid. I got my own solar power. All the power you see in this house comes from my solar system that I designed myself. So there you go, my friends. This is an off-grid homestead, 100%. And I'm talking to you from off-grid Starlink. There's no cables run here. There's no cables, no wires of any kind that run down here into my homestead anywhere. All righty. So, the State Department is warning that the Hamas may violate the ceasefire with an attack on Palestinian civilians. I think they're a day late with this. This was published on the 18th, but no, this has already been happening. We've been seeing that. So this whole peace deal over there, a lot of people are expecting it to collapse. Hey, we got Ransom in the house. Good to see you, Ransom. Hey, Ransom, hope you saw my thing from my video coming up tomorrow or later today on my Galactic Greg's channel. I think you're going to like that one. All right. Now, hey, this immigrant stuff, we talked about Great Britain. Lord, you've seen the riots in Paris. So guess what? Melbourne. This is not Melbourne, Florida. This is Melbourne, Australia. Protesters pepper sprayed and tear gas during an anti-immigration rally. Now, you see the people in Australia are standing up. They're rallying against immigration. And police are attacking them. Kind of different than what the protests were having in the United States. And we got Rodney in the house. So anybody Scooby Snacks, anybody down there in the house? So I've covered 2 items of news now for Australia tonight. Anyway, hey, can you blame them? And they're saying Australia's had a gutful. I imagine so. So there you go. So they claim the next thing after this, No Kings. Oh, yeah, the No Kings has actually got another event scheduled for like a month from now. But they're also now they're planning major union strikes, union disruptions. So all kind of stuff. A lot of peaceful. I'll come back and read the chat in a little bit. We're almost done with this stuff, so I'll go into the chat room in a little bit. 13 cities on the brink of destruction. Why you should get out now. I said this applies to all cities. Get out of the cities. And when the grid goes down, they're all going to be bad. And there's some that they really missed on there. There's some big ones they missed. Venus, Italy is sinking, a sinking beauty. It's been sinking for a long time. Duh. They'll just move into upper floors and keep paddling their little gondolas around and singing, right? Jakarta, Indonesia, submerging under pressure. We also got a lot of tectonic pressures there and volcanic pressures. San Francisco, USA, earthquake alert. Yes, the San Andreas Fault may go big. Mexico City, the shaken capital. What was built on Lake Tenochtitlan? Come on. You built a giant city on what was a lake bed? Jakarta, Bangladesh, floods and crowds. Well, what's a crowd there? That's a funny thing. I don't know, floods and crowds and show a picture with like almost nobody in it. Huh? Miami, USA, rising seas, sinking futures. Well, I don't know, maybe, but just the way the cities depress the land. They found that in New York City, that the weight of the buildings is depressing and deforming the land under. Beijing, China, choking on air. Well, they're choking on their own hot air because they keep burning coal while we give it up, and lots of it. And they burn the dirty stuff over there. Chennai, India, with water crisis. Yeah, Los Angeles. Yes, Los Angeles. Wildfire worries. Well, they're not out of the woods on that, huh? Especially if they don't put water in the lakes to pump for putting the fires out. As long as Mayor Bass, however you say her name is, spelled Bass, pronounced Bass, I don't get that. And Newscomb are in charge over there. Kyoto, Japan, a flooded jewel. There's some pretty places in Japan. Cape Town, South Africa, drought and desperation. Nolans, NOLA. Hey, we got a super chat. Samuel Turner's in the house. Thank you, Samuel Turner. Weather bad in Taiwan, straight, but China could go without an amphibious attack. World War III before Christmas. Well, they would fire missiles first and soften the target. Amen. Yeah, that's maybe the only thing that's saved us so far is the typhoons have been having our Moscow, Russia, the cold edge. You just join us. I talked about China attacking an Australian jet. One of their fighters attacked with flares, basically. So China is just off the hinges. Russia, cold edge. Well, that ain't different. Russia's always been cold. What happened to global warming, huh? Well, who are they not naming here? Who's not named here? How about Seattle, which is between Mount Rainier and the Cascadia subduction zone? Why is Seattle not named? What about cities that's on the verge of running out of water, like Las Vegas, Phoenix, south of me, and Tucson? I said Tucson on purpose. Tucson. Yeah, the severe water crisis in the valley south of me here, because they've been pumping aquifers down there out real hard. And Western Arizona, they had the Saudis went in there and some big agricultural farm. I think they were pumping 3,000 gallons of water a minute out of the aquifer. Not right, because all the produce we were making was going back to Saudi Arabia. All for some chump change, losing your future aquifer. I'm on a different aquifer. It's called the Coconina aquifer. It's supposed to be the second largest in the world if I can get a well in one of these days. That's costing a lot of money. That's me a high thing for me to try to. That's a high bar for me to meet right now. It's because I've been waiting, and the price has just been going up real fast. So we got some earthquakes. Samuel Turner's right. You just don't know when China's going to pop off. It is like I said, they don't build, like I said a little bit ago, they're not building all that stuff for nothing. So we can see a fair earthquake here in the Aleutian Islands, Adak. That's where that was the center. That's the island that Japan took. That was part of what was we call our 1,000-mile war fought over to take it back from Japan. And we got one in Japan, speaking of. And Takahama, 5.1. It's kind of quietening down a little bit on Kamchatka Peninsula, but it's still rocking 4.9, 4.3. And then out here in the Kuril Islands, 5.0. Japanese island possessed by Russia. And then we got here in Papua New Guinea, 5.0. We got still more going on in the Philippines, 5.8. That's pretty serious. in Santiago, Philippines. Yeah, all right. And the Puerto Ricans are dancing as usual. 4.0 and the Colabera, Puerto Rico, however you pronounce that. And here we got one in Westbrook, Texas. We've been seeing a lot of them in Westbrook. There's a hot one up here just occurred. Glacier View, Alaska. Hey, I've seen glaciers up there, so you call the place Glacier View. It might be on the close to the Copper River, judging by the location. And we got one here, just a little vertex, the Sandifuca Plate, San Juan, whatever we call it. A lot of earthquakes happen right there. Petrolia, California. This is not too far from the San Andreas Fault. Geysers, California. Geysers? Whoops. They just getting away from me. Anyway, let's look at space news. So Comet Lemon's making its closest approach. You might want to go out and look for it tonight or next night. We got a bunch of sunspots, but none of them real big facing us right now. They always can grow. These two here we need to keep an eye on. What's on the other side of the sun? Remember, they had some big flares, four all at once, like a four-pack, just a few days ago. And if we go down here and look at, oh yeah, Coronal Hole is moving away. That's good. But asteroids, we've actually got one ahead of us that's coming between the Earth and the Moon. We don't usually see this. We usually discover them after they pass. But this one was discovered this year, 2025, UE1. But it's 7/10 of the way between the Earth and the Moon now toward the Moon. So it's still not close to Earth. That's more than twice the distance between Earth and our geosynchronous satellites, and Earth is only 8,000 miles in diameter. So that's still a fur piece away. That's 7/10 of 240,000 miles. You just multiply 240,000 multiply 0.7 by, and I'll tell you how far away it is. So fortunately, it don't look like it going to hit us. It's 17 meters in diameter, traveling at a fairly good clip, 15.3 kilometers per second. That thing's bucking. That one is bucking. So I imagine that one's got a big orbit. Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to end the share. We'll talk a little bit. So that's the news part for our coffee club drinkers in the morning. Guys who catch us before they go out to do their day. I got another video I might post tomorrow. Oh yeah, for those that are just joining, if you missed it, I got a really spooky, scary video coming out on my Galactic Greg's channel just in time for Halloween. Let's have a look at that again so y'all can see this. It's called The Dark Fortress. Yeah, this video is both scary and inspiring, especially toward the end. It talks about some scary stuff. It's my explanation, and one that really makes sense for the Fermi paradox for why we're not here. This is kind of an offshoot to the Dark Force, but it's not the same. But I take the twist and the dagger a whole lot deeper in this story. And I got graphics, and it took me 3 weeks to produce this. 3 weeks. So you might want to check it out. Yeah, you need to check it out, Ransom. You're going to love it. I got music, low-key music, creepy, and the way I read my poetry. Yes, a lot of poetry in here, more than you probably ever heard from me, but it's all rather creepy. But I also have a whole lot of numbers and data science. So, and a lot of it, there's actually some hope, real hope in this too. So it's not all, if they ain't doing it, we can do it. If they're not building dark fortresses in our work cloud, we can do it. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. Do check it out. Tomorrow premieres, what time is it? It is, hang on. It will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and 3 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, which is the time I'm on right now. I'm not Pacific Daylight Time, but since Arizona don't do Daylight Savings Time, it's effectively the same until about a week or two when it changes. So you like science, you'll love this, Ransom. I know you will. Stuff we've chatted about. I know you'll love this video, and so will several of you. So just in time for Halloween. Anyway, so let's chat. Let's go through the chat. Sam Turner, I appreciate it tonight. Yeah, China, we have got to watch China. I've been beating on that horse for a long time, and people aren't paying attention. Like I said, they're already at war with us, and we're just too darn dumb to know it. And that's the biggest truth I can bring to you. Let's see what I want to do. I'll go over here and look at this over here. Let's check the chat room on this. Let's see what everybody's saying. All right. Babe King, Mary Green. Hi, Mr. Greg. Hawaii girl. Aloha. There you go. Aloha. It sounds so sweet. So, Arnold, Tara. Tom Weary, got to watch this later. Okay. Well, glad you chimed in. Anybody that's catching it on the end, go back and hit it on the rewind. Talked about the stuff going on between the Russian, Ukraine, and Trump's trying to mediate. And I also talked about China a little bit, about the hacking especially. S. Lee, 45 times 45 man's calculations for doomsday. That's interesting. That is interesting. I got to pull up my calculator now. Oh, that's now. Deagle report. Let's hope it don't happen this year, but holy smoke. S. Lee. So if you take the square root of 2025, you get 45. Daniel O.T. is your left hand present. Let's see. We got Daniel Twit in the house. Let's see here. Oh, wow. We got another super chat. Let me check that out. We got another super chat from Samuel Turner. Get lunch on me. Remember, if you die, if I die, you automatically become the ugliest man in North America. Salute to you, Samuel Turner. We really appreciate you. We missed you last few live sessions. So you might want to go back and watch some of those other videos. And some of them I laid into China real hard. You weren't even there to hope you went back and watched them later. But there's a couple of those videos I laid into China real hard. So salute to you, Mr. Turner. Greatly appreciate your support of the channel, and have a great night. So we'll be done here in a few minutes, and we got our egg count to guess. Y'all can guess how many eggs I got today. China says I'll check it when I go to the bottom. That's still where my heart is on the screen there. It's hard for me to see. Last Pope from there. Okay. Yeah, a lot of LOL. Yeah, it needs to drain. Plug yanked. Last period in history where there was a marriage between politics and religion lasted 1,260 years. I don't know what that was. Open the 5 doors, 24 December 24. Leslie, you got some things you're tossing at us tonight. Bones Jones. Well, that's a good name. Bones Jones. He opened the first door entering the 88th year, 8th day. God, we bought our chickens. So that's so true, Christy. If you got chickens, I think you're ahead of the game. I got mine. I'm glad I do. Erica Kirk, born the same day as a former president. That's weird. Some historical mathematics, as with DJT, 70 years, 7 months, 7 days from date of birth to swearing in. Yeah, there's some funny things, guys. A lot of peace fires. That's what Renshaw said. A lot of peace fires. Yeah. That's interesting. You know, so peaceful to burn down a city, right? Uh, Charlie Kirk and George Ford also share the same birthday. Whoa! That's crazy. On 7-7, they were running the 777 rituals, including tying them to Crowley. Yikes. Crowley was, oh my gosh, that is one spooky dude. We we always have peace fires. That's right. Hey, we just had a bonfire would be cool, but when they're burning buildings, that's not cool. 7/7/2025 is London's 9/11. Oh yeah, that was October 7th, guys. And where. Yeah. So Sam, weather bad in Taiwan Strait, but China can go and amphib attack World War III before Christmas could happen. Now they got those landing crafts; they might be able to handle the rougher sea states with those things. 18, 1086 codes before Amazon was spreading the one other than 888. Wow, guys. Yeah, throwing some stuff out. I mean, lost wages, Nevada. Yes. Bingo, Arnold. Lost wages. Good way to blow a paycheck showing up there. Well, you can walk around and not blow your money. I've been there for a job interview. I just walked up and down the streets and watched the shows on the streets. You ain't got to go in the casino and pop a ton of quarters in the slot machines or whatever they take these days, probably dollars. And you got to buy tokens, don't you? I don't know how much they cost. Don't want to know. The song Danger Zone is from the Top Gun soundtrack. Kenny Loggins sings it from them. Both of them are involved in the numbers. Amazon in the same numbers. They had a problem with their logins. Kenny Loggins? You mean Kenny Rogers? I don't know. Kenny Loggins? Maybe. Big Cascadia earthquake. Uh-oh. Will leave us wide open to China. Could do it. Well, it would mess up the Western coast terribly. Would really knock the West Coast big time. So, yeah, all right. We'll get a lunch on you, Samuel Turner. I may already have that Douglas man North America cornered. Third Eye Atlas. Fibonacci. Oh yeah, 1086. China says there's 60 in one MERS, 60 nukes on one hydrogen bomb, on one missile, and they can both coast with 160 and one missile. Bob Jones, interesting you say it's the Angel's Atlas was a Greek myth, a Titan that the Olympian named Zeus made to hold the heavens up. Yeah, that was Atlas. Oh yeah, that was Atlas. So is the heavens going to come crashing down? All right, guess the eggs today. That's right. It's time for the egg guess. I don't know. How many eggs we get? How many eggs we get today, folks? I got them right here. How many eggs did I get today from my hens? Yeah, eggs. That's good news. There's also a positive prospect of peace if Trump can pull it off in Europe. Maybe they're thinking Hamas will last. All right, let's see some guesses, guys. Whoa! Spunky Sugar got it right off the bat. Spunky Sugar got it. It's 2 today. 2. DF-61. Yeah, that's the Dongfang 61 missile, claiming it carries 6 nuclear bombs and 1 hydrogen bomb. Oh, maybe it have to be 60 atom bombs and a hydrogen bomb. Capable of reaching any target in 20 minutes. Whoa. All right, we got 2. 2x a day. I had 5 yesterday. 5 yesterday and 2 today. Spunky Sugar got it. All right, salute to Spunky Sugar for guessing the number and guessed it right off the bat. First guess. Wow. first guess was right tonight. That is amazing. Spunky Sugar. You got it. That's great. Pandaland announced 61 missiles last week. Oh, the 61. Dongfang 61. All right. Last week I had a lot going on. So, once again, if you just joined, be sure to watch my video over on my Galactic Greg's channel later today, which is still tomorrow for me because I ain't gone to bed yet. But it's Tuesday. Be sure you want to check this out because this will make you shout. It ought to scare the skittles out of you. So yeah, you want to watch this thing. But it's spooky. It's not for Valentine. It's real spooky and inspirational too. It is my answer to the Fermi paradox. The dark fortress, not dark forest, dark fortress. It's different. This is new. This is my theory. So check it out. So, and I am a rocket dude. So I'm qualified to do this. I appreciate it, Billy Wayne. Thank you, Ring Greg, for this great presentation. All right, Isley, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody in the chat room. I appreciate Samuel Turner tonight for being such a great super chatter. So again, salute to Samuel Turner. Oh, before the night's over, I do need to go check because sometimes Kim Possible's here and she can't chat because she works quite often while we're doing this. So I'll check her chat. I'd like to give credit where credit's due. Oh, I better check my email quicker than trying to log in. Trying to guess my password, which I seem to get wrong more often than not. Let's see. Ding, 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 ding. Put on other email. Chris from China Uncensored. Oh. Let's see. We haven't heard from Chris we haven't heard from our friend Kim Possible. She must not be in the house tonight. So I hope she's doing well wherever she is. And maybe she can catch us on a rewind. So share my videos. Please share them far and wide because this platform steps on me and smashes my hide. So after I post a video, go into the comment section and make a comment, reply to somebody else's comment. If you haven't given a thumbs up, please hit the thumbs up button. We need all the help we can get here. Yep, Swivelhead News, Galactic Grades. That's the channels I broadcast on. Actually, I've got Product Papas. I haven't put anything on there in a long time, though, but I got some plans for that channel. And I got a whole nother channel I'm planning to start in the not too distant future. So, gold futures are down $90 right now. Might be a good time to jump in. Because the pressure on the dollar, it's kind of hard to see it going down much. Because the high gold prices just reflect a weak dollar. And China with their Brits has done everything they can to bring their dollar down. If we can get production and factories going in this country, we can turn things around. That's where the tariffs could pay off in the end. You might have a little, it's like working out. You got to have a little pain to get some gain. That's what they tell you when you're working out, right? If you're in the gym or the dojo, no gain without pain. But man, we haven't really felt that much pain so far. But if they go up another 100%, basically trading with China is undercutting the United States. It's undercutting our security. It's a threat. So I really think we need to bring all that stuff back on shore. Even if we can't find the people to make it, let's come up with the robotics to do it. One way or the other, we need to make stuff right here. Factories win wars. Exactly, Matt. And how do we win the World War II? Because we were the world's top producer. We were the factory of the world. And we outproduced everybody. We won every war we've ever won by attrition. So how do you expect we're going to go to war with another country that's the factory of the world today and we're not producing squat? It don't work. It don't work. 5%. Well, that's a good time to jump in, probably. So go check out defythegrid.com. If you make a purchase there, use discount code GreenGregs, you get 1% off, which is pretty good considering they only operate on 3 or 4% margin. That's how they make the deal. If you find a better deal anywhere else, they'll meet it. But again, it's time to call it a night here. We've been going over an hour. I got to get up in a little bit. Hope I don't meet myself getting up as I go into bed. So, again, thank you, Sam Turner. Jen, Colorado Jen has sent me a donation this week. That she's not in the house right now. Maybe she'll watch it later. I'll give her a kudo when she's in the house here with us. Greg offers gold backs paper money with a same 99.9% Troy. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Ransom. Hey, well, hope to see all you tomorrow over in Galactic Greg. So I'll be in the chat room, good Lord willing. And again, thank you, Samuel Turner. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean. And thank you, everyone, for watching. To one and all, a good night. And in memory of Granny Lana, ho, ho,